Good morning, you guys. Welcome to our first science lesson. I hope you're all doing well. If you don't know me yet, I am Mr. Banuchi. I'm going to put my name on the screen so you all can see. So this is going to be our science class, and what I want to do today is start by exploring our textbook and taking a look at what we're going to be doing this semester. So come join me. So this is our textbook, HMH, Science Dimensions. Our first unit is going to be, or our first book is going to be, Cells and Heredity. So the first thing we find when we open our book is the authors, the people who contributed to writing this book. It would be interesting for you to read through the little descriptions of each author. And then we have this series of pages which gives us a little bit of insight into what our classes are going to be like. So the first thing we see is you are a scientist, and this is an idea that I want you guys to have throughout this semester. We're going to think of ourselves as scientists. Because everyone is naturally curious, which means that we all have wondered at some point or another. We have all thought about questions and tried to answer them regarding the world around us. So thinking about the world around us can help us plan for the future, think about what we want to do for the rest of our lives, and this book might help spark your curiosity, help you think about things that maybe you had not considered before. So, scientists, like we said, are naturally curious, and we want to use that curiosity, but in a organized manner. And how do we do that? Throughout this semester, we want to work like a real scientist works, which means that we're going to be doing observations about different phenomenon. We're going to collect data, which means we're going to gather information, and then we're going to analyze or think about that information in a critical manner. Another part of this HMH curriculum is engineering, which means we want to define problems, think about specific problems, and then find solutions by testing or using different tools in order to solve our problems. So in order to explain our world, we're going to start by asking questions, and that is the most important part of our scientific journey, is asking the right questions and gathering the information that we need to answer those questions by thinking critically and conducting investigations. So one of the interesting things about this curriculum is that there are different ways to answer your questions. So we're going to be exploring different projects and other activities that are not just tests all the time. And the book that you are working on is a write-in book, so that means that there are a lot of activities that you would do right on your book and that we were going to implement. And also this book brings a lot of interactive content online, which you should all have access to through the license that the school provides. So please make sure to access all of that extra information that we can find online. So for today's class, we will begin working on Unit 1. We're going to be talking about cells, and then later on in the unit, later on this week, we're going to be talking about the characteristics of cells. Our chapter begins with a beautiful picture of a water sample, and you can see in the picture all sorts of different microorganisms that are living in just a drop of water. Mostly when we think about a living organism, we think about a large organism like a fish or a dog, but if we look closely, if we were able to look in like a microscope, we could see that those large organisms are made out of millions of small organisms called cells. I'm sure you have all heard of cells at some point in other science classes or just in general. So cells are the tiny structures that make up all living things. Some organisms are made up of just one cell or a very few number of cells, but other organisms like us humans or let's say birds are made up of millions of different cells. So the way we can look at cells is by using special tools like a microscope in order to look very closely at specific things. So by looking at this sample of water with a microscope, we could tell the different types of organisms that live in that drop of water, and that could help us see if the water is very healthy or safe to drink, or if the water is dangerous, if it has dangerous microorganisms like bacteria that would be harmful to our health. So on page 3 you can see a set of pictures showing cat hair at different scales using a microscope. So in the first picture, you can see the whole cat, you can see its entire body. But then as you look closer, as you zoom in, you get to see less and less of the cat's body, but you get to appreciate more and more of the details of the cat hair. So you can see the structure in the cells that make up that particular piece of hair. So what I want you guys to do as an activity for this class is to go to page 2 and look at the 5 questions that we have on that page. Those questions are meant for you to answer as preparation for what you're going to learn throughout this whole chapter. But I want you to choose at least 3 of those questions and try to answer them. Doesn't matter if you get them correct or wrong, because these are things that we're going to be learning throughout the course of this chapter. But I do want you to try and answer at least 3 of these questions and then submit through the Google platform by uploading a photo of the page and the 3 questions that you answered, or writing out a document with the 3 answers and then uploading the document to Google Classroom. So if you have any questions or doubts about what I need you to do for this lesson, please feel free to write a private comment on the assignment, or write me directly through email or a message on Google Classroom. So have a great day, you guys, and I'll see you in the next class.